This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So testing categories. One is manual testing. The second one is automation testing. See, since most of the guys came from like non-technical background, that means non-IT background. See how this testing will happen. See, the developers will develop the application. In the companies, there are different kind of people will be available. So one is developers who takes care of development activities. So after development is done, the developers will do a minimum basic testing. So that is called unit testing. Unit means it's a small piece or a small unit. Once the developer did a basic unit testing, you should not release the application to the customer. See, the customer is providing some requirements according to his business. Based on that requirements, the developers are going to develop the application. Once the developers develop the application, they will do a minimal set of testing. So that is called unit testing. See, you may have doubt, okay, developers doing testing, again, do we need a separate testing team? Yes. Why? Because the developers will think about whatever they are implementing the functionality. They'll not bother about what other functionalities. See, in the project point of view, there are n number of modules are there. I am developing one module, you are developing your module, and others developing their respective modules. So after implementation is done in my module, what I will do is whether whatever I have implemented, whether it is working fine or not. That is what I will test it. I don't want to worried about whatever others doing it. So from my side, what I will do is once my functionality is implemented, I'll test whether this functionality is working fine or not as a developer. So what I will do is I'll do unit testing. Okay, you are testing, I mean, whatever you implemented, that is working fine. But what about like others? So others, whatever they are implementing, they also do the same way. But who is going to test with all these combinations? So that's why there is a separate team. That means QA team is going to involve to test the application, the functionality end to end. So if there are n modules are there, so how each module is interacting with other modules, the complete business flow is going to tested by the testers. That means QA team. So they are going to perform the testing activities in two ways. One is by manually and the second one is in automation testing. Manually means here we don't use any programming, we don't use any tools and all. Just you are applying your brain with your thoughts and you will apply your logics and then you are going to test the application. Let's say if you take like Gmail application, I want you to validate login validation of the application. I mean login functionality of the application. So as a tester, what will you do? You will open the application in the browser. You are going to enter some username. You are going to enter some password. That means correct username, correct password. After clicking on sign in button, whether it is taking you to the home screen or not, that is what you are going to verify it. Suppose if you are providing wrong username and wrong password, as a tester you are expecting wrong message should be displayed. The application should not log in. If the application is login with the wrong credentials also, then there is a big mistake in the application. So that means there is no security from the application. So as a tester, you are the person to judge the quality of the application before delivering the application to the customer. So that's why whoever is joining in the company, and if you want to know what is the project you are trying to work on, so to get that knowledge, to whom you are approaching is always the best thing is testers, because the testers are responsible for persons to know the functionality of application, each and everything end to end. If you ask like developers or maybe like developer team leader, and they'll tell about only those modules only. But as a tester, he is going to play an important role during the application delivery. 45 to 50% of the tasks are going to be taken care by the testers, and the testers are going to be ultimate the people who is going to give the quality or judge the quality of the application. Okay, so those guys, they are going to test the application in two ways. One is manual, and the second one is automation. Manually means you are testing the application manually with your uh, ideas. Here you don't use any tool, you don't use any programming. And see, but the problem with the manual testing is, since human beings are interacting, so definitely it is taking time consuming. I mean, that means it is taking more time for execution point of view. And the main point is accuracy. That means reliability. See, you cannot expect always the same result. Being a human, we cannot expect always you are going to perform the same way. Let's take, if you want to test some complex calculations. If you want to, if I ask the perform the same task 100 times, and that too complex calculations, maybe one or two times you may be perform correct, but the remaining cases, as a human being, you may do mistakes. And so in the manual testing, the accuracy will lacking will be lacking. In the manual testing, the accuracy, that means reliability, will be lacking. And that too, nowadays we are following a methodology called agile methodology. In agile methodology, we will have release every 15 to 21st days, either 2 weeks or 3 weeks release. So within short span of time, you need to take care each and everything. So within short span of time, if you want to take care, so definitely we are going to do a lot of mistakes. So to avoid such kind of situations and to give the more reliability on the application point of view, what people are going to do, they are going to follow the second approach, is automation testing. See, don't think that automation testing is the replacement of manual testing. No, It is not a replacement of manual testing. It is an enhancement of manual testing. The basic point what you need to understand is, before going for automation testing, you need to test the application at least once manually. Without testing manually, straight away you cannot go to the automation testing. So the first basic fundamental is, before going for an automation, you need to test manually at least once. So that's why manual testing is the base for testing, whereas automation testing is an enhancement of manual testing. It is not a replacement of manual testing. See, manually each and everything you can perform it. Each and every kind of testing activity you can perform it. But in the automation point of view, each and everything you cannot perform it. So there are certain scenarios are feasible to automate scenarios. There are certain scenarios are feasible to automate it. So only such kind of scenarios only you can go for automation. So the main goal of automation is, one is to reduce manual effort. See, what are all the advantages of automation testing is, one is fast. In terms of execution point of view, it is executing very fast. And the second one is accuracy, the reliability. The reliability is more in the automation testing. The accuracy is more in the automation testing. And the third one is reusability. Reusability in the sense, in automation, whatever you have implemented the test scripts, those scripts you are going to reuse it for different releases. So that means reusability. And there is another word called repeatability. Repeatability means, during testing, sometimes you are going to test the application with a different kind of inputs. You are testing the same scenario, but you are providing different kind of inputs. So such type of scenario is called repeatable scenarios. Just a second.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So such type of scenarios are called repeatable scenarios. Repeatable scenarios in the sense, the same scenario you are going to test it again and again with same data or maybe different data. And comprehensive. Comprehensive means you are going to test the application thoroughly using this automation by using programming concepts. So these are all the advantages of automation testing. So that's why nowadays, when you are applying for the job, without automation, our resumes will not be shortlisted. So that is our current trend. Earlier, before, like 6 to 7 years back, if you are working in manual testing, with the manual testing knowledge, you can apply and you can change your company. But now everything is changed, and without automation, your resume will not be shortlisted. Right. So yeah, any doubts so far? Yeah. So see, there is a chat session is enabled for you. So if you want, you can ping me in the chat session if you don't have any doubt. Srividya and Sudha. Okay, there is a chat session is enabled. Just let me know if you guys have if you have any doubts. Just let me know, or shall I proceed? Kusum, Rosai, Saira, Srividya, Sudha. No questions. I don't have. Okay, thank you. Now, under under automation also, again we have different kind of categories. One is functional automation, and the second one is non-functional automation. One is functional automation, and the second one is non-functional automation. Okay. Under functional automation, in the market, there are so many tools are available. Like you might have heard about a tool called QTP. Now the name is changed to UFT. QTP name is changed to UFT. QTP means Quick Test Professional. UFT means Unified Functional Testing Tool. Silk Test, RFT, Rational Functional Tool, Renorex, Selenium, etc. There are so many powerful tools and very strong tools are available in the market to do this functional automation. So functional automation means what you are doing using those tools. You are trying to verify the requirements of the application, or you are trying to verify the functionality of the application, right? And the non-functional automation, see, in the testing perspective, first always people will prefer always functional testing. So 75 to 80% of the testing is majorly done on the functional testing. So that's why you have so many opportunities on functional testing is more when comparing with other testing activities. Okay, the number of job opportunities also more on the functional automation. Okay, functional automation means in that we are trying to verify the business of the application, whether the developers whatever they implemented, whether it is working fine or not. That is what you are trying to check under functional automation category. After functionality, the next category is performance of the application. See, the customer is not only expecting only the functionality. Along with the functionality, the performance, look and feel of the application, security, and usability. That means how application is behaving with the friendliness. So that is also all these things and all the customer, that means the client, is expecting from the application. Now the performance, security, look and feel of the application, usability, all these are all the coming under non-functionality related. In that non-functionality testing types, after functionality, the next category what people are going to concentrate is performance of the application. See, look and feel of the application is good, security is good, functionality wise it's good, but if the application functionality performance, if it is not good, nobody will like that application. That means using that application we need to perform the operations. very fast. After providing the input, if the application is responding after some time, nobody likes that applications. So the performance is another major factor after functionality. So to test the performance of the application, again, there are different kind of tools are available in the market, like load runner, JMeter, WebLoad, RPT, Rational Performance Tool, Silk Performer, etc. There are different kind of tools are available for performance testing. The performance testing is coming under non-functional category. So for each category, we have different kind of tools, and those tools are very, very powerful and very strong, and they provided very accurate results. Okay. So again, in the automation tools also, we have different types of categories. So what are all the types of tools? The tools wise, one is a commercial tool or licensed tool. Commercial tool. So what is meant by commercial tool? Before we start using those tools, we need to purchase the license. So from where I should purchase this license? For each and every tool, that commercial tool, for that there will be vendor. Let's take, if you take like a QTP, QTP is the product of HP. Silk test is the product of Borland. RFT is the product of IBM. Load runner is the product of HP. JMeter is open source. RPT is IBM. Silk performer Borland. So like that, if it is commercial tool, there may be there is a vendor. So from the vendor, we need to purchase that license, and based on that, you need to work in the companies. So those tools are commercial tools or licensed tools. The second category is open source tools. So what is meant by open source? So these tools are available for free. Anybody can download and anyone can use it. Here there is no vendor because it's available in the internet for free of cost. You can download and you can start using those tools. So such type of tools are called open source tools. The third one is in-house tools or proprietary tools. What is the meaning of in-house tools? As long as you are working in the company, you will use that tool. Once you come out of that tool, once you come out of that company, outside people will not aware of those tools because that tool is belong to only that company. So such type of tools are called proprietary tools or in-house tools. So based on the license, they categorized into, there are three types. One is commercial, open source, and then in-house tools. So those are all the different kind of tools are available in the market. Okay, yeah. Now let's talk about Selenium. See, before Selenium came into market, we have so many tools are available and very powerful and very strong. Before Selenium came into picture in the market, the QTP is very famous. Of course, still it is there. You can say for Selenium, QTP is one of the major competitor. So for Selenium point of view, I mean, other than Selenium, previously the entire market is occupied with QTP only. So once the Selenium is came into market, all the tools market is went down. Nowadays, if you're applying for the job in the automation side, 80 to 85% of the market is occupying with Selenium and a Selenium based related tools. So that is our current market. People are not preferring other than Selenium. That is the current market. So what is this Selenium? What it contains? That means what are all the features of Selenium? Why people are preferring to work with the Selenium? We'll see. So before that, do you have any doubts? Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah, Kusum, Rosie, Saira, Srividya, Sudha. Any doubts?
No.
No,
Sudha? Right,
no, I don't have any.
right. Kusum, do you have any doubts? Right, okay, thank you.
No, I don't have any.
Okay, so what is this Selenium and what are the features of Selenium? Right. Selenium is a functional automation because it is coming under functional automation category. So Selenium is an automation tool which automates browsers. The first point is it automates browsers. So when I say browsers, in the sense it is a supporting web applications. So using Selenium, we can automate web applications. And then it is open source tool. It is an open source automation tool. So when I say open source automation tool, in the sense the tool is available for free. No need to purchase anything. Anybody can download and they can use it. Next. It is a supporting different operating systems. So when I say different operating systems, in the sense like Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, iOS, like this. So using this Selenium, we can test the application on different operating systems. You can test the application on different operating systems. It is a supporting different browsers because Selenium itself is a browser automation tool. So it is a supporting different browsers like Firefox, Chrome, IE, Edge, Safari, Opera, like this. So using Selenium, we can test the application in all kinds of browsers. It is a supporting different languages like Java, JavaScript, Python, Ruby, C#, like this. So what is the meaning of this statement? it is a supporting different languages in the sense. So using any one of the programming language, you can automate your Selenium scripts. See, I'll compare with the QTP because the QTP is the major another competitor for Selenium. See, each and every tool has its own advantages and disadvantages, but we will compare the most leading tools in the market. So for the Selenium, the major competitor is QTP. So see, if you take this first point, it automates browsers in the sense, right now in the world, if you want to access the application anywhere, there are two ways. One is using web, the second one is using mobile. So if you want to access the application using web, you are trying to provide some URL, and based on that you are trying to access the application. So if you want to test the application which is related to browser related thing, then Selenium is the excellent tool. If you take like QTP is also supporting web related application. Plus, let's say application which is installed on the top of the operating system. And if you want to automate such kind of applications also, you can automate it. Why? Because it's very, very costly tool. Before we try to use that tool, we need to pay the amount to the HP. Because QTP, for the QTP, the vendor is HP, and these guys, they are charging very huge amount from the customer point of view. So this is licensed tool, and it is a supporting web as well as desktop related applications. So here, when it comes to like Selenium is open source. It's a free, but here you are paying lakhs of amount, and it is a supporting different operating systems like Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, all these things. But here the QTP is majorly supporting only Windows. Other than Windows, it is not supporting. And it is a supporting different browsers. Using Selenium, we can test the application in all kinds of browsers. But whereas QTP, majorly it is a supporting IE, Internet Explorer. Other than that, it is not supporting the other browsers. Here, it is a supporting different languages. Like using Selenium, using any one of the programming language, you can implement your Selenium scripts. You can use Java, JavaScript, Python, Ruby, C# like this. But whereas QTP, it supports only VB script. So you are going to write the programming in only VB script. Other than that, you cannot write programming in any other language. Okay. See here, when it comes to this point, the major market by default, okay, if you are applying for the job by default, let's say you have experience in Selenium. If you put it like this, what people are thinking is by default you have experience with the Selenium with Java combination. So once the Selenium is came into market, people are starting from that time onwards, everybody is using with Selenium with the Java combination. So 70 to 75% of the market is occupying with Selenium with the Java combination. After Java, people are working with the C#. It's a .NET related project, which is Microsoft technology. And after the C#, nowadays, the people are working with this Python. People are started working with the Python. And maybe in coming, maybe future, not now, maybe like after 4 to 5 years, now this Python will replace the Java. But now you concentrate with Selenium with the Java combination. The more number of opportunities and more number of forums, communities, websites, blogs, everything is present with Selenium with the Java combination. Why? Because people are started using from last several years with Java combination, and more number of opportunities also very high in the Java combination. So Selenium with Python is just started, and after Java the next market is with the C#. So here I'm going to teach you the Selenium with Java combination. So they may have another doubt. Okay, let's say my developers are developing the web application, because if it is a web application then only I can use the Selenium. So if my application is developed in C#, assuming that if my web-based application is developed in C# using .NET technology, so if I want to automate my Selenium scripts using Java, can I do it or not? So this is the question. Or let me put it in another way. If my web-based application is developed in Java, I want to automate using Python or maybe C#. Can I do it or not? The answer is yes. See, first you should remember one point. If you want to automate the application using Selenium, the application should be like a web-based application. Why? Because Selenium automates browsers. So this is the basic first fundamental. If it is a web-based application, behind the technology, whatever it is, it does not matter. So using any one of the programming language like Java, JavaScript, Python, Ruby, C#, you can use any one of the programming language to automate your Selenium scripts. There is no dependency between the developed application technology and the Selenium programming language. So you can use any one of the programming language. Let's say if the web-based application developed in C#, if I want to automate my Selenium scripts using Java, yes, I can happily go ahead. If my web-based application is developed in Java, I can automate my Selenium scripts using Python. Yes. Okay. So very less there are projects which are all developed with like Ruby. And so market wise, the major market is Selenium with Java, and after that C#, and now the Python market is just started and it's growing. Supporting database interactive testing. So what is meant by database interactive testing? As part of your Selenium automation, if you want to get the data from the database, so using Selenium you can interact with all kinds of databases like SQL Server, MySQL, DB2, D2K, Oracle, Sybase. You can interact with any kind of database. So you can get the data or you can pull the data from the database and you can substitute in the application and you can validate your functionality of the application. So it's supporting database interactive testing also. And then parallel execution. Okay, let me put this point later. Right. So parallel execution. So what is the meaning of parallel execution? Let's say you have implemented 1,000 scripts. in your automation. As part of the automation, if you're trying to execute these 1000 scripts sequentially, consider it is taking 10 to 15 hours of time to execute all the 1000 scripts. So what I want to do is I want to reduce the execution time, plus I want to test the same scripts in different environments. If you want the application, want to test the in different environment. So first you are proceeding with like sequentially one after another. It's very, very difficult. After completion of one environment, then you need to switch to another environment. Let's say you want to execute these 1000 scripts in one is in Firefox, another one is Chrome browser. So first you need to start executing in the Firefox. So you need to wait 10 to 15 hours of time, and then after that you need to wait this again for Chrome, again 10 to 15 hours of time. So I don't want like this. What I want to do is at a time I can distribute my cases in different environments. Let's say I have two machines. In one machine I am executing in the Firefox, in another machine I am executing in the Chrome, and in the same time I'll get the results. So how it is possible? The tool has to support the parallel execution mechanism. If it is not supporting that parallel execution, you cannot achieve it. So each and everything you need to execute sequentially, one by one only. Okay, so using Selenium, we can test the application in different environments and different machines at a time using parallel execution mechanism. So this is also very, very powerful feature. This kind of feature is also not available in the QTP. Next, mobile application testing. This mobile application testing is supporting a tool called, nowadays you might have heard about a tool called APM. This Selenium is supporting indirectly with another tool called APM. What is the meaning of this indirectly? APM is the tool which is using to automate mobile applications. Using this APM, we can test Android applications, we can test iOS applications, we can test Windows applications. Right. How this Selenium is indirectly supporting with this mobile application. Instead of using direct, I'm using the word called indirect. Why is, see, this APM is the tool which is developed on top of the Selenium. So Selenium is a web related applications, but if you take like mobile applications, in the mobile application you have three types of applications. One is native application, and the second one is hybrid application, and the third one is browser related application. You have three types of applications which is normally that smart mobiles are supporting. Nowadays that smart mobiles market is everything is occupied with Android and iOS majorly. Windows is later. So in the smart mobiles, it contains three types of applications. One is native, the second one is hybrid, and the third one is browser related applications. So but using Selenium we can test the application only using browser. But if you want to test like that native and hybrid applications, there is a tool called APM. See, this APM is developed on top of the Selenium only. If you're trying to automate the mobile applications, assuming that if you're trying to automate the mobile applications using APM, 70 to 75% of the code you are writing in Selenium only. Why? Because this APM is developed on top of the Selenium. Nowadays, there are different kind of tools are developing based out of the Selenium. That's why in the automation market nowadays, people are expecting Selenium and Selenium based out of tools. So what are all the tools which are all developing based out of the Selenium? Like, as I said, APM. You might have heard about Protractor, Cucumber, JBehave, SpecFlow, Fitnessy, then Selendroid. Okay, like this, we have different kind of tools are using in the market along with Selenium. So these are all the advanced tools. We can say simply, we can say these are all the advanced tools based out of the Selenium. So once you start working with the Selenium, you can learn these tools very easily. Why? Because behind these tools there is a Selenium only. So 70 to 75% behind these tools only Selenium. The remaining part, the 25% of the code, you need to write according to this tool. Okay, so nowadays whatever the tools are developing, they are developing on top of the Selenium only, because the Selenium is very powerful and very strong, and it is supporting all the latest features of browser related things. So that's why whenever they try to implement a new tool, they are making Selenium is the base. On top of that, they are implementing this code, and they're providing a different name. Let's say APM, Selenium plus some mobile related frameworks they used, and with that they provided the name as APM. For Protractor, which is again developed on top of the Selenium, so which is using to automate Angular JS applications. See, in the market, the latest web technologies like Angular JS, Angular, React JS, Node JS, so these are all the latest technologies for using to develop the web applications. So to automate this Angular or React JS kind of applications, people are using a tool called Protractor. Again, this is developed on top of the Selenium. Cucumber, JBehave, SpecFlow, Fitnessy, all these are all the some advanced level of frameworks which is using based out of the Selenium. So Selendroid, again, which is also using to automate mobile applications for Android related. So this is Selenium is before version of Appium. Once the Appium is came into market, it is supporting both iOS and Android, but this Selenium is supporting only Android applications. So before Selenium, people used to work with Robotium. There is another tool. So again, that is also which is working based out of the Selenium. So all these tools are depending on the Selenium, and the Selenium market is growing like anything. And see, the Google is doing like a lot of enhancements on the Selenium side, and maybe in coming 1 year or maybe in another 1.5 year, 2 years, you may get the latest features of like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science related concepts also they're trying to enhance using this Selenium. So that is how the market of Selenium is growing like anything. So that's why when you are applying for the job, the major market is entirely is depends on the only Selenium. So this kind of powerful features are not available in any existing licensed tools. And that too, in the company's point of view also, people are expecting only the open source and which support more number of features. That's why everybody is going with Selenium. Okay, so this is about the basic introduction like Selenium. What are all the different components of Selenium, and which version we need to start using the Selenium, and which version is considered in the market for the Selenium, and what all the softwares are required for the Selenium to start working with Selenium. So all these things we'll see from tomorrow onwards. Okay, so you will get this recorded session for each and every topic.